YouTube. And then we also have Gautam Andal, the Director of Content for YouTube in the Asia Pacific. So thank all of you for being with us today. As I said, we'd like to get started with just a few words from each of our partners about what they are doing with YouTube and where they see their future and this partnership going. We'd like to start with Howie. Howie, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. I'm honored to be standing up here, not only because I'm representing our network, but because I'm representing a YouTube household. I'm the father of a 9-year-old boy who can't get enough of YouTube. He actually watches it more than television. Because of YouTube, I hear him suddenly utter Japanese words that he learned from obscure anime shows not shown on Philippine TV. And I see him build Lego fortresses that he says were inspired by other kids in other countries building similar structures. YouTube has also challenged my parental skills in imposing controls on what he can watch and for how long. But there's no doubt about it. My kid belongs to the next generation of viewers who will be consuming their favorite programs almost exclusively online. So this event recognizes the significance of that fact. This early in the game, the Philippine population is already among the biggest users of YouTube in the world. This is at a time when most programming there is still submitted by amateurs. So the partnership between our networks and YouTube is a win-win solution for us all. As a media organization constantly exploring ways to use internet tools to achieve our goals, we consider this a no-brainer. YouTube is among the biggest online showcases in the world, and having an official YouTube channel will enable our viewers to watch our shows legally anytime they want at a higher picture quality. But YouTube is more than a channel. We also see it as a huge community and a social media platform where our viewers can interact with us and with each other. It's a source of news, where citizens from all over post videos of significant events or send in story leads that our reporters can follow up. But we also like to think we will also be contributing value to YouTube with professional quality programming, long-form content, and our award-winning documentaries and teleseries. YouTube has already been a home for budding filmmakers all over the globe. Now the millions of Filipino viewers scattered throughout the world will now have a place there they can call their own. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay kayong lahat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Howie. By the way, we do want this to be a very interactive session. You've probably noticed the microphones that are placed in the aisles. If you do have a question, please feel free to step up either now or during the actual Q&A. Next, however, we'd like to call on Mark Lopez. Mark, all of you panelists, actually, you can speak from your seats. You can come to the podium, whatever makes you comfortable.
Sorry, I think this will be more than just a few words. I came a bit prepared as well. Anyway, I'll try to keep this short. Anyway, through the years, ABS-CBN has carried on the pioneering spirit of our founder, Eugenio Lopez Jr., and opened doors to many firsts in the Philippine broadcasting that has shaped the Filipinos' viewing habits and expectations, defining new dimensions to television, from being the first to tape live show, fast forward to streaming video on demand. These are all driven by our mission to serve the Filipino by keeping them entertained, informed, engaged, and involved. With Halalan 2010, we broke new ground with Boto Mo, Ipatrol Mo, Ako Ang Simula campaign, empowering journalists, celebrities, and ordinary citizens, leveraging on the emergence of social media. This initiative brought advocacy to new heights by allowing Filipinos here and abroad to report, monitor, and weigh in on the electoral process. 2010 shall go down in history as the banner year for voter awareness and vigilance, a success that we share with the rest of the media industry that tirelessly covered the elections. The audience engagement has since become the norm, and new avenues are opening up every day with the development and maturity of the internet and social networking tools. At a time when broadcaster's health is no longer a bumper sticker, but an invitation to join the digital age, we have embraced new ways to reach a broader audience. With 3 billion videos viewed on YouTube every single day, across the globe, geographical and cultural boundaries have been crossed. It may seem unbelievable that what was once uniquely Filipino appeals to a segment halfway around the world. 48 hours worth of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute, including clips of pint-sized future chart toppers to gripping scenes that capture nations and drive us to action, just like what we saw recently in the tsunami in Japan. YouTube also introduced worldview interviews, which brought ordinary citizens virtually face-to-face with their nation's leaders to ask the questions that matter the most but have been left unanswered in the past. YouTube's reach and potential cannot be underestimated. It has redefined how people access creative content and momentous events as they unfold near real time. ABS-CBN has always embraced new technology that give Filipino an opportunity to access relevant and timely information, a way to express themselves, and a medium that allows them to be part of emerging global community. We strive to outdo ourselves year after year to offer the best to our audience by constantly improving the quality of our content and continuously finding ways to reach every Filipino wherever he or she may be. The internet has definitely become a major touch point between us and our audience. It is this rich channel which enables dynamic interaction that allowed us to widen our reach at an unprecedented pace. We are ABS-CBN, serving the Filipinos worldwide, and now in the service of the Filipino online. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, Mark. I'd like to call now on Francis to say a few words.
Good morning, everybody. My partners and I, we wrote a speech for me this morning, but I'm ditching it because it's too long. You know, we all want to have lunch. You know, you guys might throw up if I read the whole thing. Well, my name is Francis Reyes. I've been a professional musician for about 20 years. I've also been in the radio business for about 20 years, and I work with PinoyTuner.com. We're a very young company. We're not mega like GMA or ABS-CBN. So having this partnership is extremely amazing for us. The main goal, the eventual huge goal of PinoyTuner.com is to serve as an internet portal or a site where Filipinos from around the world and people interested in Filipino culture, they can check us out. For example, we will be supporting independent filmmakers, maybe even artists or poets or whatever. But at this stage, we only started in February, and we're starting with what my partners and myself really love and want to support first and foremost, and that's the Filipino musician. It's no secret that the music industry has been suffering greatly. And, there are artists, for example, like Lady Gaga, for example, even she's suffering from declining sales. But that's okay for her. She's not going to go hungry anytime soon. But what about the rest of the other musicians, the ones who remain undiscovered, who also may have something important to communicate with their music? So, and what more, the Filipino. I think globally the Filipino is recognized as a very excellent musician. I mean, you know, proof. Arnel Pineda, Charisse. So through PinoyTuner.com, we put up a few virtual radio stations that address different music communities in the Philippines. So for the rock community, we have digradio.ph. For jazz, we have Planet Jazz. We are also going to be putting up a hip-hop virtual radio station, and the goal of each is to remind, first and foremost, to remind our countrymen, if you access Pinoy Tuner, that, my God, the gift of music, this country has been blessed so much, and we would like to let the rest of the world know that. And partnering up with YouTube, I don't think I really have to explain how massive this partnership will you know, you know, just thinking about it, I'm dumbfounded, because, you know, we have very serious goals, and even if we only start in February, we've been getting a lot of attention, and you know, this country, 7,101 islands, yes, and one of the problems that we face, maybe it's a human problem. We all tend to, you know, go into our little corners and go, oh, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you're from another part of the country, you're going to do what you're going to do, et cetera, et cetera. So what we're trying, what we're shooting for is for people, different musicians, different artists, to check out PinoyTuner.com and YouTube so that they have a go-to site. I doubt that if there's any person here who does not know YouTube or has not seen a video or has not uploaded a video, it's impossible. So we're extremely, extremely happy for this partnership, and it'll make our goal of supporting independent musicians and independent artists. This partnership will definitely help us reach our goal a lot faster and in a lot more fun way, I guess, in a more entertaining way. So thank you so much to YouTube for the support, and this is for all the Filipino artists, for all the Filipino musicians in our country and abroad. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's Francis Reyes speaking on support for young, independent entertainers who generate original content and the gift of music. We'd next like to call on Chad to say a few words about his expectations.
This is tough. I come after a celebrity. So, good morning, everyone. I'm from PNG. My name is Chad. In the Philippines, we've been around for 76 years. We play in about 15 categories in the fast-moving consumer goods. Critical to bringing our purpose to life, which is we try to touch and improve Filipino lives by offering the best products, is finding ways to connect and establish a relationship with the consumer. For the past 76 years, bulk of that time has been used. We've been doing that for bulk of the 76 years using TV, radio, and print, traditional media. We are excited that in the past couple of years, with the explosion of digital and with this launch of YouTube, we can finally find new ways to reach and create that quality engagement with consumers over and above what we do with traditional media. Personally, and in PNG, we're very excited for this one because with the advent of digital and with the launch of YouTube as well, we're noticing two particular things. One is Filipinos love to talk, and they love to talk back. One of the things we say in the office is, in the past 76 years, bulk of that time we've been speaking to consumers. And only in the past 4 years or so we've been trying to listen. Because we've only had the capability to listen to every Filipino just recently. And if in a 76-year relationship you've been speaking 95% of the time, the other party would have a lot to say. So as we reach out and engage with a lot of Filipino consumers, we find that they have a lot to say, not just about what we stand for, but also about the products that we sell and what they try to talk about. Secondly, with the advent of YouTube, we are simply amazed at the creativity that this brings to life. The creativity we see in the Filipino people, it unleashes a whole new range of ideas that we can really work with to try to work and make things better. So to YouTube and Google, thank you for bringing this to the Philippines. We are very excited to see what are the things we can do with you across all of our brands in this country, to see how else we can further create an engaging relationship with the consumer. So thank you for being here, and we're looking forward to working with you.
And so some of the sound bites or key words that stand out about what Chad had to say is new ways of quality engagement with customers, and not just talking to them or preaching to them, but listening to them. I'd like to call on Debbie now for her perspective.
Thank you, Mark. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. PhilSCAP is very honored and proud to be in partnership with YouTube. As the only collective management organization for composers in the country, our local songwriters and publishers now have the opportunity to earn from the legitimate performance of their works online with this partnership. In the past, as Julian and Adam earlier mentioned, Filipinos are one of the most active users and uploaders in Southeast Asia. And in the past, our members have been asking, are we going to be compensated for this? So now with this partnership, we can reply with absolute certainty that yes, you will. Thank you.
So Debbie Gaite on the ROI. It's very good. I'd like to call briefly on Joanna as well to give some thoughts on some of the comments that you've heard already, as well as how display advertising can change the way ads appear on YouTube.
Sure. So I was saying to Gautam that Chad kind of stole a lot of the things I wanted to say. So thanks, Chad. No, thanks, Chad, for being here. We're super excited. And as part of my role in YouTube sales, what we do is work with the Philippines' largest advertisers in really helping them to bring their brands online and engage. You heard a lot about the YouTube community today, and it's a super important part of how we work with these advertisers. So sitting down, looking how they can work with a variety of these ad formats and the content that's on the YouTube platform. And as far as what this means for display advertising, display ads are a really rich ad format. They're engaging, they're creative, as Chad mentioned. And so we're excited about what that means. We're always looking at innovating and bringing new ad formats as well. So recently we launched one of our newest ad formats called TrueView. And as we believe at Google, the user should be in control. We want to create a great user experience. So it's a skippable ad format that is unique to Google. And we'll look at bringing additional types of new products to this market. So we're just super excited, and we're looking forward to doing great things with our advertiser partners.
Great, and so those engaging experiences will contribute to that ROI that Debbie talked about, of course. Great. And Gautam, Anand, I'd like to ask you, Adam said earlier that the Philippines is the first country in Southeast Asia that YouTube would be launched with a special presence. What exactly does that mean for Filipino users?
Yeah, so just as background, I've actually been involved with YouTube pretty much since the time of the acquisition, which was in October of 2006. And at that point, going into their offices, there were less than 50 people. So first of all, it's amazing to see how the site's evolved, how we've turned into a global team. And it's actually not just the first launch that we've done in Southeast Asia. It's also the first launch we've done in Asia in almost 3 years. So it's a big step for us. It's showing that we're seeing tremendous growth for the site. I think Adam already mentioned that, from a time where most of the traffic to YouTube came from the US, we're now seeing that most of the traffic is international.
That's remarkable.
And that's, testament to the fact that we've launched in so many countries. We have so many language filters. So we're very happy to be here. I want to thank our partners for joining us, to launch YouTube locally here, to give it a local flavor, because I think that's extremely, extremely important. I also want to thank people here that have helped that make happen. So Anthony, Rachel, Eileen, who's been bugging me for 3 years and doing more for YouTube here. So, having a local site really means that we're providing local users with a local lens. It's a local flavor, obviously local content from our partners. We're showcasing things that the Filipino users are more interested in on the local homepage. So it's a much more customized experience that's tailored towards the audience here. It still means that the entire corpus of the content that we have available is still something that people can access, but it just has a local lens to it.
Mm-hmm. Great, great. So great opportunities for everyone who appears actually on YouTube and is able to leverage this channel of communication.
Absolutely. I think it's not just local content reaching out to local audiences, but we also see tremendous opportunities, especially for content coming from Asia, to export that internationally. You've got obviously 10 million Filipino diaspora, 10 million people that are living internationally, but it's also growing that market. We've seen K-pop, for example, from Korea go from just being locally popular to being globally popular. We're seeing Bollywood go from just being consumed by the Indian diaspora to those films being consumed by people living in Sweden, people living in Eastern Europe that may not necessarily speak the language, but they're using subtitles. They appreciate the story. They appreciate the films. So I think there's a lot of opportunities, and we're very excited, obviously, to partner up with our partners here and help them reach their business objectives.
And we do live in a global neighborhood.
Absolutely.
We'd like to open the floor now to questions from our media friends. So as the usual drill, please step to the microphone, identify yourself and your organization, and who you're addressing your question to. I'll get things started, I think, with a question for Francis and Debbie, really. We talked about new benefits for struggling artists, in both cases, increased visibility on YouTube. How do we get that message out now that we do have this new channel and this medium that is available for artists to make their mark? Yep.
Well, hello.
Is our mic on?
Okay. We intend to inform our members as soon as possible, in fact, within the day, that YouTube Philippines is being launched, and therefore that they should try to maximize their exposure on YouTube and encourage their artists to post their videos as well. Also, we would like to do some press releases and announce this over media so that people will be aware that local content is now being encouraged to be uploaded on YouTube Philippines.
Great, great. Francis, would you like to?
On our end, because most of us, most of my partners, we're all musicians. We know the musicians very well, and basically everybody's connected because everybody is extremely serious about encouraging original content, original music, original ideas. So at this stage, we're actually doing it by word of mouth. We talk to some of the more creative, independent artists first, and then we go, well, this is what's going to happen. And because I think most of the musicians locally, they do what everybody does. They upload their videos to YouTube. So what we're telling them is, don't make it hard for the audience to look for your music. You can submit it to us so that, at the end of the day, if you see a lot of diversity within one site, because we're not, we don't have any artistic biases. We're not saying that, oh, that kind of music's not going to fit. Oh, that's not good. So it's also quite excellent for the artists themselves because it also opens up their minds to other people's music. Of course, the the only condition that we have is it has to be original. So, well, we do appreciate, you know, someone covering someone else's song, but we'd much rather encourage originality. And we've talked to, in the last week, we've talked to 100 bands, and everyone's going, yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, we like that. And then they go, well, thank you for the opportunity. So, well, thank you, YouTube. I mean, you know, we're doing what we can, and then YouTube's on board, and it's like full on.
Multiple touch points back to this YouTube content. In other words, you know, in industry, we often talk about value added and generating original Filipino content. I think a lot of times people tend to overlook the fact that, you know, the entertainment industry, the artists, those are the epitome, the example of original Philippine content. And it's great that we now have this communication channel to distribute that content and let the world see. Related to that, maybe Howie and Mark as well, how is this partnership going to add value, not just to you as organizations, but to your audiences and to your entertainers as well?
Yeah, well, first of all, our network is expanding very rapidly globally. And we know that YouTube is in many places that our network still isn't. So it's primarily, for us right now, a very powerful means of extending our brand. That's number one. Number two, it's also a powerful tool for us to engage our audiences just all over the world. I'm primarily a news person, and we've already been using YouTube as a way of pulling content in and pushing content out. Every day we use videos from YouTube, either as a way of gathering story leads or as video content on our website and on television. And we're not even talking about plans to monetize yet. But those two approaches to YouTube already gives our network value.
That's great. Well, we do live in a visual world, and that visual world moves. And YouTube and the work that you're doing certainly epitomizes that. Mark?
I think similarly, it's a way for us to reach the Filipinos wherever we're not right now. For example, we have our TFC service, our global service, which in some areas where we cannot reach, I think this partnership with YouTube allows us to hit those areas for as long as our audience have internet access. It allows us to bring our content to wherever they may be. Second, it allows us also to somehow fight the perennial problem of piracy. I think that's a common problem that we all have today. And I think the partnership with YouTube will allow us to somehow legitimize our content online. And I think with the tools that's available in YouTube, it will help eliminate this problem down the road. And third, I think it's a way also of addressing a lot of our younger audience. I think more and more we're starting to see that we are not just addressing the people who are watching TV, but the younger generation today are watching it on different devices. So therefore, I think being on YouTube allows a lot of our audience today to capture our content wherever they may be, whatever device that they may be using.
Yeah, psychic income is good, but ultimately you do have to put groceries on the table. So, yeah, exactly. We have our first question from the audience.
Hi, I'm picking up from what you said. Psychic income is good. Reaching the markets. I mean, I see the point of using YouTube as a way to reach out, to extend the market. But this is a question directed at the Google YouTube executives out there. What exactly is new with YouTube Philippines in the sense of like, well, I could understand like marketing it as a way for marketing my products. But aside from that, are we also looking at the business? I mean, is there something else, like for instance, for content producers out there or content makers, content publishers? For instance, in the past, there has been no way to monetize content for Philippine content producers. You have to be in a country like United States or other countries out there which allow partnerships. So what's new in that sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
so historically, unless we've locally launched in a country, we actually don't monetize those videos. Now with the deal with PhilScap, for example, we can start monetizing all the music content that we have in the Philippines. We can go start selling, and Joanna can talk more about this, locally to advertisers for all the content that is being consumed here from within the Philippines. So, when ABS-CBN or GMA has content that they're putting up on the site, we will be able to go and get, have that also get associated with brand advertisers. Similarly, if that content is being consumed in other markets internationally where we're launched, where we have sales teams that are actually focused on selling YouTube, they start seeing better monetization as well. So one of the key things is that from going from no monetization to actually opening that entire platform up and having the sales team go out and work with the likes of P&G, et cetera, to bring their brands onto YouTube and associate with the content as well.
Are we talking here of monetization via the ads revenue sharing model, which we did via Google Ads, or are we talking about like paid content?
So it's ad supported, but we have multiple formats that we use on YouTube, from display advertising to similar advertising to TV, 15-second, 30-second spots that are served as pre-rolls, mid-rolls, etc. So all of those rich media formats that haven't been used before now become available, and obviously, from a brand's point of view, those are the formats that are more engaging. Those are the formats that they see value in. So it's going beyond Google and our AdWords business and text-based ads to actually rich media ads.
Great, thank you. Speaking of brand value, Chad, have you started conceptualizing your first YouTube campaign or activity?
Hello. Actually, we've been, dabbling in it for the past couple of years now. Our digital efforts in the past couple of years have been focused on other primary touch points, mobile being one of them. We all know that in the Philippines, mobile is a huge online device, as well as social networking. We've been dabbling on YouTube for quite a bit. What I love about this partnership is that now we can also learn from YouTube what are the best ways to, we don't want to just grab our 30-second ad on TV and put it on YouTube, because that adds no value, right? What we're looking for is how else can we learn from YouTube and their experiences in other countries, as well as our experience in other countries and in recent years, to really try to raise the engagement level with the consumers, because then you add more value by being on YouTube as opposed to just replaying your 30-second ad on the network.
Okay,
Chad's going to create the next Old Spice campaign.
The next Old Spice. That'd be great. That'd be great. So it's not just added visibility, but it's new domain expertise and knowledge that you get from the partnership as well. Okay, next question from the floor. Anyone? Melvin, JM, Eden? Here we have one. Yep.
Hi, I'm Trisha from Manila Bulletin. I just wanted to ask, what trends do you predict in the next 2 to 3 years with regard to online media, people transacting online, and what will YouTube's role be in all of this?
Okay, are you directing this to Gautam or Joanna?
Representatives of YouTube.
Okay.
So I think that one of the key things that we're seeing is that, content consumption will become ubiquitous, right? So you're going to basically be able to consume content on your mobile devices, on your tablets, on your connected TVs, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that that's the big kind of shift we're seeing as technology gets better, as consumption gets better, as more and more of these devices become accessible from a price point perspective, that people will consume content when they want, how they want, right? And, and I think that that's why going and embracing an on-demand platform where you are making yourself relevant at that point when somebody is interested in something is absolutely critical.
Joanna,
I'm sure you guys have thoughts on that as well.
I would say the same thing. And just, I think we've seen over the past year, and Chad touched on this, the whole element of community, and that will continue to increase. Obviously, from an advertiser perspective, there really are completely blurred lines between what people are doing across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're all coexisting together, and I think you'll see more and more of that.
I'll just add one more thing. I mean, I think the first point was consumption. I think on the content side, the other thing that you'll see is that you'll see a lot more niche channels developing, right? So you're gonna, you have the Food Network, for example, but you're gonna see the Vegan Food Network on YouTube, right? Because it's specifically tailored to a niche audience, and it may not necessarily be something that shows up or gets airtime on TV, but it will find an audience on YouTube, especially when it's global, right? So you'll see a lot of, specific genres of programming getting created, and then communities forming around that will give users ultimately a lot more choice.
So look for the next celebrity chef on YouTube in that case, right? Okay, panelists, feel free to jump in. Howie, did you want to say something?
I just wanted to add that I think one of the greatest new things about YouTube is its content ID technology, which I don't know how old it is, but I'm just finding out about it fairly recently. It's basically a technical solution to one of the biggest problems that the networks face. Mark mentioned earlier the problem of pirated or illegal uploads on YouTube and all the traffic going to those. When you search YouTube or Google, it goes to somebody else's site. But with the content ID technology, I don't know, maybe one of you can just briefly mention so they know it. I don't want to be misdescribing the technology, but basically, to me, that's one of the most exciting things that's happening, and I think it's one of the main benefits from being a premier partner.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, thanks for bringing that up. I think, historically, if you think about the fact that, making good content is something that's an art. It does require an investment, and copyright's always been very, very important to us because it's very important to our partners. Over time, what we heard we always had tools in place which would allow our partners or copyright owners to take down content from YouTube, but it was very manual, right? Mm-hmm. We had things like, send us URLs, and, we'll start taking that stuff, and we had teams dedicated to that. But what we were hearing from our partners is, look, you guys are a technology company, build something that's more robust, that's more scalable, that's more automated. So we did. In fact, today we have probably one of the most sophisticated both audio ID and video ID systems where we can automatically detect all of the videos that have been uploaded to YouTube from the beginning of time and continue to be uploaded that match any copyright owner's content, and then let them decide what they want to do with it, right? Block all of it, leave it up, and when we have a partnership in place, they can actually decide to monetize that as well, right? Mm-hmm. So what that does is, it actually, if you do take that decision, it gives you access to all of these fans, all of these editors that are actually finding compelling moments from your content, uploading into YouTube. But now, instead of seeing that as activity that maybe is not something you like, you actually embrace that because they're actually doing you a favor. They're promoting your programming. They're promoting your content. If you can generate revenue from that through Joanna's efforts, then that becomes a win-win situation for everyone.
It's interesting. Chad mentioned that he's learning from YouTube, and YouTube is learning from its partners as well. Next question? Yes, Melvin, you just have to sort of juggle your way out of there. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I'd like to ask about last year. I think I saw the concert of U2 being streamed live to global audiences. Is that something that YouTube is also contemplating on doing for local shows? Concerts or...
Yeah, so absolutely. So I think over time, we've started to do a lot more live sports. The IPL in India was one example of that. More and more concerts. Recently, we had Lollapalooza. We had a 3-day concert from Brazil that was broadcast, globally. So music is obviously a big part of the site. And we've also launched something that we call a self-serve live streaming capability. So it allows any one of our partners to actually use the platform to do a live event. So yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the things that we're very excited about, and we hope that the music, community here is going to utilize. In fact, talking this morning, a lot of ideas were floating around music, and we certainly want to see more of that.
Actually, it sounds like a great idea for all of our partners that are represented today, both from a sponsorship perspective as well as distributing that content globally.
Yeah, and I think that some of these bigger music festivals and events, we're actually seeing a lot of strong interest from big brands as well. We've had American Express sponsor, concert series, for example. So, that's definitely a great opportunity.
Great. Next question? Yes.
Yeah.
Follow-up?
With the launch of the local YouTube channel, does Google have plans of actually putting up a local office to oversee the operations here?
And I thought we would get through the day without that question. Okay.
What's that?
Are there any plans to put up an office?
I mean, I think that right now we've localized YouTube. It's not something that we can comment on, so you'll just have to wait and see.
It's interesting. We were in an event yesterday where a returning OFW had set up a business, and she said, the reason I came back to the Philippines was that I realized technology made it possible for me not to leave my family and work in Hong Kong. I could do everything.
You'll certainly see a lot more YouTube people in Manila.
Okay. Last question. To the content partners, what type of videos will you be putting up in the channel? Will it be full-blown shows or just clips?
So I believe that's for Mark and Howie.
Yeah, well, we're planning to upload more and more excerpts for now from both news and entertainment. Currently, for the past several months, we've been uploading nearly entire shows, news programs from GMA News TV, partly because the rights issue is much clearer. But more recently, we've also been uploading news AVs, what we call AVs or segments from 24 Horas, our flagship news program. And we're also going to be tapping our library of entertainment programs, hits in the next several months. We're going to be uploading content from that. So it's going to be a mix of both news, public affairs programming, and entertainment programming.
So those digital rights make it a lot easier for you to feel good about uploading this content for your viewers. Mark, did you want to say?
I think similarly, the plan is to put also all our content, most of our content at least, online, but probably maybe not as complete. For example, like in terms of a season, maybe not everything will be there, maybe portions of it, but I think that's the idea to at least have most of it online, available to the consumers.
And actually, Pinoy Tuner has, we have original programs. And also, what we tell the musicians is, because generally, when we talk to them, upload your content here, upload your videos here, and sometimes the thing that they say is, well, we don't have the money to make a video. And I said, no, you don't understand. This is YouTube, so it can be a live performance of you guys. What if something funny happens during a gig? And turns out to be entertaining, as long as it's not, as long as there's no body parts exposed or whatever. I think every single band has made some sort of music video or music-related video, and with Pinoy Tuna, we're encouraging the musicians and the artists to, there are some really funny musicians in this country. Outside of the music that they make. So it's like, hey, don't let that idea go to waste. Why don't you, shoot yourself, upload it, and, well, if you're not going to make money out of your music, maybe you can make money out of your comedy or something. Or you may be discovered for that, somewhere else around the world for that. I mean, bottom line is, opening up opportunities for people of all stripes. I mean, and since we're primarily music-based right now, so we're starting with the musicians. So we're just encouraging them to be as creative as they possibly can. So there.
So it opens new opportunities you don't quite imagine in that case. Great. Yes, I didn't get your name earlier.
Hi, it's me again. I'm Gemma Mendoza. I'm with Newsbreak and also with Move.ph, which is currently on Facebook.
Great.
And we're actually live streaming this right now on our Facebook page. But
cool.
My question is, I'm sure there are a lot of people, content producers out there who are currently wondering, like, how do I become a content partner? Or do I have to be a content partner of YouTube Philippines so that I can avail of all those nice things like monetization and all,
So I guess that's a question.
Yeah, the partnership opportunities are not limited just to the large media companies or the large music labels. In fact, we have over 20,000 partners globally, and that includes, the top partners that we have across TV, film, sports, and music, but it also includes thousands of individual creators, right, that are creating compelling programming, that are getting a following on YouTube. And I believe that we've actually opened up that partnership program applications for individuals from the Philippines as well. So that's something that will be available. Again, I think that there's examples now of people who have quit their day jobs because they've been able to find a following, they're creative, they're following their passion, they're following something that they love doing, and making a living off of that, off of the earnings that they're getting on YouTube. So we're actually very excited about that entire ecosystem as well, and we hope that more Filipino users will utilize YouTube to express themselves, to be more creative, and actually hopefully generate some income for themselves as well.
Okay, great. Yes.
Hi, I'm Roselle of Entrepreneur Philippines. This question is addressed to Joanna. The site's main source of income right now is display ads, which is the value of which is measured through impressions, click per ads. And you mentioned earlier that there's also an option to skip that ad. So have you created any other metrics, any other form of advertising that's not that hard sell and that leverages on engagement, since the content partners are very big on audience engagement, and this is becoming a social media platform.
Sure. And I think this is a very good question, and it's one that we talk about with our advertisers all the time. So it's evolving, and yes, we work with some of our bigger brands, especially in the CPG space, are asking us exactly this. Google, we don't want to talk impressions. So, at the end of the day, we're very metrics driven, and we like to make sure that people understand how their money is invested and what return they're getting. But we're always exploring conversations, and we tend to be driven by our advertisers' objectives, right? So if advertisers saying to us, look, we're running a campaign across multiple platforms, across the YouTube, across the Facebook, how can you work with me, Google, to present the success of this campaign in terms of metrics that work for me, in terms that really talk to what we've done, what we've achieved from our consumer perspective, from a brand perspective. So we are doing this, and again, it tends to vary advertiser to advertiser what the specific metric might be.
All right, thanks.
Great.
I'll just add to that. I think we are experimenting with new ad formats as well. So you talked about engagement, right? I think one of the best forms of engagement is giving people a choice on what ads to view. They have a choice on what content they're viewing. So we've actually introduced ad formats in certain markets. We call it True View, right? Where a user is given a choice on a selection of ads, and they decide which one they want to watch, right? And if you think about it from a brand's point of view, that's a lot deeper engagement, right? Because they've decided that what they're choosing is actually content that they're interested in consuming, even though it's an ad, right? So you can actually go from advertising that is being forced or pushed to a user to the user actually choosing what they want to watch and what they want to engage with, which I think is very powerful from a brand's point of view.
I'll just add to that, since half the work is finding the right channel, and half the work is coming up with the great ad content. Gone are the days where I could just flood the networks or YouTube with just text-based ads and expect to create the same level of engagement. So the challenge is really also with us as advertisers. How do we find the right connection context with the consumer, and to be able to provide the right engaging content that, partnered with the right formats that YouTube can give, would really create something that you wouldn't want to skip. Like right now, if you watch a YouTube video, you see some text at the bottom. If it's not relevant to you, you just click that small X at the upper right and just watch the video. The challenge to us is, how do we come up? What's that insight that comes up with the great content that, partnered with this one, would make you to not click out, but to actually watch the ad itself? So that's a challenge on our part as well.
All right.
And I think we like to say that ads can be content too. And in fact, if you go and search for ads, you'll see that some of those just stand alone by themselves are generating millions and millions of views because they're entertaining, right? They're actually, something that people are interested in watching just by themselves. So again, going to that point of creating that type of format and having people, engage with this is actually very powerful.
So it's good content and choice for consumers. All right, thanks.
And I think you'll continue to see us go in the direction of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Great. Next question. Yep.
I'm Riza Alchandra from the Philippine Daily Inquirer.
Hi, Lisa.
For Google and YouTube execs, we've seen as brands try to engage consumers more in several media. There have been evolutions like, say, placements in TV programs, not necessarily ads, or infomercials, or info/ad articles in publications. Will there be similar formats in YouTube, and how can the consumer, or how can the content consumer, the viewer, distinguish between, say, somebody just doing a dance and or showing their band, and there are certain products that happen to have been shot, versus a video, for example, where say a PNG product was strategically placed so that the viewer can see them. Will there be formats like that, or will there be a way for audiences to distinguish that? And my second question is, looking forward, what other companies or institutions would you partner with, say sports organizations or more other broadcasters aside from GMA, TV5, and ABS-CBN?
Okay, so two questions.
Yeah, so I think you're talking in terms of strategic product placement, and I haven't heard anything along those lines, so we'll be doing anything like that from an advertising perspective. So if we were airing content where we would say P&G feature your ad, so not at this moment, but never say never. And did you want to talk about other content?
Yeah. So, I think that when we, talk about what content we want to put in front of users, we say we want to provide them with infinite choice. And that's across genres, across professionally created to individually created, long form and short form. I think, like I said, we've done a lot of deals with a lot of media companies internationally. A lot of that content will become available, or obviously is already available, but as we do more of those deals, will become available for users in the Philippines. And then we want a very robust ecosystem, right? So this is just the beginning. We want to work with as many people who want to work with us as well and see a benefit in partnering up with YouTube. So I think that we're obviously going to go beyond this and engage with, as many content creators, both professional and individual, from within the Philippines and internationally as well.
Great. So I guess product placement would be relevant to what you guys are doing as well in some respects. So I think we have time for one more question, if anyone has something to add. If not, our partners and resource persons are going to be available during lunch. So if you'd like to approach them with some other questions, then please feel free to do so. At this point, I'm going to turn things back over to Paul, but let's give everybody on stage a big hand.
Thank you very much. So I'd just like to thank all the members of the panel this morning. That was really informative. I thought there was great engagement from everyone. So what I'd like to do as well is just to remind everyone of something that the Secretary mentioned earlier on today. So it's about the upcoming Worldview event that will be featuring the President on the 4th of November. So as mentioned by Secretary Canandang, you may start submitting questions on the 21st of October on our YouTube Worldview channel. This interview will be carried out in partnership with ABS-CBN, and you may also visit their YouTube channel and submit your questions there. Okay? So what I'd like to do at this point is take an opportunity for a second photo op. So if I ask our partners to remain on stage and my fellow Googlers to come up. Come on up and we get a second photo. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Everyone for coming today, and I hope everyone's excited about YouTube in the Philippines as I am. So finally, if everyone could look to their right, you'll see that lunch is about to be served. You're right. So lunch is about to be served. So I hope you...